So, welcome to Community College Softball on SportsNetUSA.net. Thank you for catching up with us. Corey Neyland, it's two heavyweights today, Mount SAC and Cypress. And Mount SAC with the big gunner Goris getting the base hit. Let's just start you off right here. Coronado basically started things off and that's Arlie Coronado for Mount SAC. She flew out the left. Then her sister, Ariana Coronado, playing shortstop, got a hit, stole second. And then the young lady who is batting over 500 and got a slugging percentage of 1,300 does what she does more often, gets extra bases. That's number 28 in extra bases, an RBI double. So we've got a runner at second, one run in here in the top of the first inning on SportsNetUSA.net. Emily Rush in the circle for Cypress. Schaefer at first, Huerta at second, Adamondo at short, Sandoval is at third, Thompson at left, Curiel in center, and Sophie Little in right. Emily Rush gets that big strikeout against Barcelona that she needed.
Ashley Diaz.
So one run in, two outs here in the top of the first inning. Corey Neyland, myself, calling the action today. We've got the defense set for you. Diaz swings big the first time up. Diaz, Ashley's playing center field for Mount SAC, who is a good fielding team. Corey Neyland, excellent in the circle. This should be an interesting game today.
Cypress fielding percentage at .966. Doable and agreeable for Mark Pavlovich's standards. And Cypress, their keys on defense are just play the ball and play ahead of the offense.
Diaz fouls that one off.
And when you look at this Mount SAC team on the offensive side of the plate, Mark, they're not as prolific as they have been in the past. You see Goris standing there at second base. Like you said in the pregame, 1,300 slugging percentage. She is the power person for this team.
That went towards the fence. Paige Schaefer reaches but can't get there over at first base.
And that was her 14th double of the season, her 29th RBI, and she's ahead of the pack on the offensive side of the ball.
38 hits. 28 of them, I think, now are extra bases. So that's why she's slugging percentage is 1,300.
And when you look at Mount SAC, the rest of the team is just solid.
One's high by Rush in the circle. Emily Rush out there can be hot or cold. She's got a good ERA, Corey, when you look at Cypress out there. But the days when she is off, she can be off. And Brad Pickler understands that with this Cypress team. High again.
And when you're facing a just solid team like Mount SAC, and when you mean just solid for Mount SAC, you mean one of the best teams in the state, and that means one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And they do everything seemingly. That's why these two teams are such powerhouses.
Yeah, both ranked in the top 3 in RPI, both ranked in the state rankings. Adamondo scoops it up, flips to first in time, but not before Mount SAC scores first. One run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. As we head to the bottom of the first, it's Mount SAC 1, Cypress 0 here on SportsNetUSA.net. When we look at Cypress, we've got Rush in the circle leading things off. Thompson, the left fielder, will be batting second. Sandoval over at third will be third bat up. And then Schaefer, Paige Schaefer, who really does be that universal hitter, bats in the hole for him. And then, Corey, you look at the defense of Mount SAC. Of course, you brought up the defense. You look at them right now. Solid defense out there for SAC.
Yeah, Grace Pyson in the circle, the lefty. She can bring it on the season, Mark. This is her 12th start, 14-3 on the season, a 1.31 earned run average. And her battery mate is going to be Maria Amesqua. Amesqua, the battery mate in right field. Barcelona is in right field. McKenna in center field is Ashley Diaz. Left field is Areli Coronado. And on the infield from third to first, Olivia Ortiz at third, Ariana Coronado at short.
Emily Rush.
Second base is Riley Morano, and at first base is Brianna Goris.
Solid defense, Emily Rush. When you look at Emily this season, her numbers are good. Corey Neyland, somebody who was always around the 380 mark when she comes to the plate for this team. Not only is she strong in the circle, but she's that offensive threat. We'll see what she does today. Pison brings it. First one on the outside corner.
Rush leads the team in home runs with 7. They've got 9 home runs on the season.
Out and away. 209 down the right field line, 207 down the left field line, 220 straight away center. And Corey, you look at that outfield for Mount SAC playing shallow.
And this is one of the bigger ballparks in softball that we've seen.
Emily Rush says, that's right, play shallow on me. Drives it all the way to the wall left field and goes in with a stand-up double.
And one of the deeper and bigger ballparks in softball in California, Emily Rush says, I don't care. You're playing shallow. And again, Mark, if they were playing deep, that's still over the left fielder's head. That's over Coronado's head because it was well hit.
Jordan Thompson.
So Thompson comes up now
And
as Emily Rush gets that big double to start things off here in the bottom of the first.
I was going to say, before I rudely interrupted you, she did a good job of waiting for her pitch. Pison tried to come outside multiple times, and when she got behind in the count, she had to come with something over the plate, and that's when Rush jumped on it.
Goris comes down low as the first ball is fouled away. So Goris comes in for first base, about 10 feet away. Sneaking down from third base is Ortiz, looking for Thompson to drop that bunt. But it's 7 times against Fullerton College last week. This offense did for Cypress and laid him down beautifully. Thompson fakes that. Everybody takes off. So, Corey, I always love the wheel play. They crash from the corner. Your second baseman wheels towards second. Your shortstop covers third. Sometimes it could be a foot race if you take off on a steal on this play.
And that's why I'm not so sure you bunt in this situation.
Outside. 2-1 the count. So Emily Rush with an outfield that came in, drove a line drive. Corey Neyland said it would have been to the wall anyway. Didn't matter where they were playing defensively. And now you have Ortiz in and Goris in at the corner. Drop it down. Nice bunt taken right there by Ortiz, and she only had one play, and the sacrifice works.
And that's a great job by Thompson for laying down the bunt with 1 strike on her. She got a pitch that she needed because she worked the count at 2-1.
Number 5, Eliza Sandoval.
And you lay it down. It's just a great job. I thought they were going to go to third base all the way on that play, but they went to first to get the sure out.
And you do know who the bunt advisor is for Cypress College, don't you?
I know. I'm standing next to him.
Brad Pickler brought that up last week. So tying run as Sandoval comes to the plate at third base. Mount SAC brings the infield in, so they're going to try and shut things down. Goris in at first, Morano at second, Coronado at short, all in. Down the right field line, let's see if you're going to tag up Rush. Not hit deep enough, and an easy fly caught out there by Barcelona.
Now batting number 12, Paige Schaefer.
Schaefer, a lanky first baseman. And Paige is another one who can handle the bat. She had a beautiful bunt for a base hit last time up. Let's see if Paige can tie this game up with a sweet single. Takes that one high.
And because she is lanky and because she's fast with it, Mark, with 2 outs, with the Cypress team that's aggressive, you might see another bunt laid down here.
Well, especially when you look at Mount Sac Ortiz playing inside the bag, but then you look at Ariana Coronado, Corey, deep but short. If you can put it past the pitcher, it's a hit for a bunt. Schaefer waits, takes that all the way, goes to the wall. Here comes Rush, and the game is tied up. So a wild pitch will get Emily Rush in. And we're tied at 1. Got to give it to Emily Rush, a quality overall player, Corey, because she broke immediately when she knew that ball was past the catcher. Base is empty. Schaefer shows bunt, doesn't catch up to it. So what we expected, a slugfest. We've got 2 of them today. We're double dipping here on SportsNetUSA.net. Schaefer. Lazy fly ball, just enough to move the second baseman, Morano, who says, it's mine. And that's all that's going to happen here in the first inning. But not before Cypress ties this one up. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 big wild pitch that doesn't go down as an error, and we're tied at 1. It's Cypress 1, Mount Sac 1. Here on SportsNetUSA.net. Corey Neyland, we didn't get a really chance to talk about this game. You look at the 2 top teams in the rankings, 2 top teams in RPI, something that we'll discuss with Ed Ford later. You got to look at this maybe state championship game we're looking at right now.
You know, you could. I mean, Cypress and Mount Sac, 15 titles between them for the programs. I mean, 9 for Cypress, 6 for Mount Sac, and every year, they're the favorites. These 2 teams here are the favorites to get to the championship game in the state of California. Now,
go ahead.
I was going to say go.
No, I was going to ask you because, I mean, really in Northern California, maybe 1 or 2 teams. I know Ed Ford looks at me and says, Northern California?
Well, when Ed comes on the air with us later and we talk about NorCal, SoCal, I think I'm going to be the dissenting voice in the conversation.
You're gonna give him a little love, are you?
I'm gonna base everything because of the NCAA basketball tournament. I'm gonna base because of that.
Second inning, number 4,
I'm gonna base everything
Bravo.
upsets, and underdogs.
Desiree Bravo, the designated player, coming up right now.
.375 average, .375 on base, .438 slugging.
Cypress gives the courtesy of coming up in the corners. Schaefer in at first, Sandoval at third. Schaefer nonchalant to play against Fullerton last week. Didn't make Brad Pickler too happy. But after that happened and 7 bunts and 5 runs later, Brad was all smiles. 1-1 count. Rush up the middle, can't get it. Adamando, easy hop over to first. So Adamando comes across in front of second, waits for that little candy hop, gets it, and a smooth play to
Now
first
batting,
base.
number 19, Olivia Ortiz.
Ortiz now comes up for Mount Sac. 261 hitter. Olivia playing third base for the Mounties today. And Corey, when you watch Emily pitch in the circle, I mean, a lot of her pitches are high. She moves it up, down, left, and right. Looks like she's got basically 2 pitches. Down the middle, Paige Schaefer just backs up a little and snags that out of the air. 2 quick outs here in the second inning.
This will bring up Morano.
Now batting number 8, Riley Moreno.
That's 286. And Mark, you go back to Emily Rush. She's a pitcher who hits her quadrants well. She's not an overpowering pitcher, but she can bring the heat. She's got a rise ball that's very deceptive when it leaves her fingers.
Rush down the middle. Huerta off her glove, and that goes down as an error because I said she was a sure-handed second base person. So we're going to make that an E4 on that play.
So, yeah, that should have been the third out of the inning. First error of the game for Cypress, and that's one of the things when you play either one of these teams, you can't give them extra at-bats.
That's what happens when I start praising people, huh? Make me look senile.
Well, the sophomore has been a great player here at Cypress. Defensive MVP of her high school team.
And now that brings up the catcher, Amesqua, from Mount Sac. .304. This time Paige Schaefer says, I've got it myself, and takes it right there. So Paige Schaefer handles that one and makes sure that there's no damage on the play. No runs on no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. As we head to the bottom of 2, well, we thought it'd be a good one. We're knotted up at 1, and Mount Sac 1. Cypress 1 here on Sportsnet, USA. .net. We're going to have a little Cypress baseball next week. Make sure you watch for that on the page at sportsnetusa.net. Followed up by softball. We're going to go out to Cerritos. We've got a little Cerritos Falcons softball. And as a matter of fact, we get to see Mount Sac again next week as they'll take on another team that's playing well this year. Cody over at Cerritos is going to end up taking on Mount Sac later in the week here on sportsnetusa.net.
2 South Coast Conference rivals, and when you look at the standings in the South Coast Conference, Mount Sac, the aforementioned, is 21-3 overall, 11-2 in conference. And then they play Cerritos next week, Mark, who's had a resurgence for Cody and the Falcons, 18-6 and 10-2 in conference play, followed up by another resurgent team in Long Beach City College, who's 10-3 in conference. Then Rio Hondo, El Camino, East LA, Pasadena, and LA Harbor round out the South Coast Conference.
So the young lady I've talked so much today about, Alyssa Huerta, comes up. You look at Elizabeth Huerta, solid second baseman. Corey, she's good with the bat too.
Not bad, 458, 481 on base. It's all right.
Huerta off the hands, easily picked out of the air right there by Brianna Goris, who not only is a slugging sensation from Mount Sac, but plays well with the glove over at first base.
Yeah, just a great pitch by Pison. Came in, like you said, off the hands. And Huerta was confused about the pitch, swung late. And you see the pop up there.
Adamando now comes up to shortstop for the Cypress team. Takes that one just a little high with a little heat on it. Here in the bottom of the second, both teams scored in the first. And it was the big gunners for both teams that made that happen. Next one, high and away to Adamando. Corey looked and said, is she that solid shortstop? I know you're talking history when you said that with all the good shortstops that have come through Cypress.
Oh, yeah, you cannot be a bad shortstop if you play for Cypress. Plus, if you're the starting shortstop for Cypress, you're pretty good.
Pison brings it home right on the corner. Sweet little pitch by the lefty.
And no wasted effort and no wasted movement when she's in the circle and on her delivery.
Pison rocks in the middle, hit deep. It's going to go to the wall one more time. And Adamando is in with a stand-up double.
Second double given up on the day by Pison. And again, first one line drive to left field. This one by Adamando, left center field. And just a quality hit. You talk about no wasted movement. She turns her hips, but once she turns her hips, she doesn't try to overpower the ball. Like in the golf swing, when you try to hit that deep, just stayed with it, good things happen.
Bella Savala now comes up. Bella looks like she's squaring to bunt. Takes it for a strike. So Brad down at third looks like he's playing that traditional softball.
Love it.
We'll see if it stays that way with Bella on this next pitch. Armando at second with a deep double in left. That one's down low.
Came inside, Mark, and Savala has 1 home run on the season, 12 RBI. She hits .350.
Yeah, Bella's also somebody, Corey, that can turn on the ball too. They backed up a little for Bella now. Fouls that one away. So the outfield for Mount Sac is now taking a step back when you look at them in left, center, and right. You look at Arlie Coronado, Ashley Diaz, and then in right, McKenna Barcelona have all taken steps back on 2 deep balls to left field. Bella, that goes all the way. Ball bounces away. That is the 3rd time now that Pison has thrown a wild pitch in this game. Moves the runner. It also helped Cypress score their first run.
And it could help them score their second run here, the 2-2 count. And with the wild pitch, Mark, you got to be looking for a fastball.
Yeah, and if you heard Brad Pickler, all he said was, Bella, hit something hard. Bella pops it up towards us. And Corey, I'm going to go back. Brad yells, hit something hard. So when you're a coach and you say that to a hitter, you want them to do what?
Make contact.
And get it in the air, or
No,
even
just
hit it hard?
Just make contact. Doesn't matter where it goes, just make contact with it, because after 3 wild pitches for Pison, she's going to want to be near the plate, so you're going to get a good pitch.
Inside. 3-2. Infield in. Trying to cut the run off at home. Ortiz in at third. Coronado at short. Morano at second. And Goris all crowding the plate here now. Bella just wants to get, like Brad said, hit it hard. That off the inside. Nice pitch by Goris. She jams her on the plate.
Yeah,
and goes low.
it was a drop pitch that came through at the right opportune time.
On deck, Sophie Little, the right fielder for Cypress. 3-2. 1 out. Go ahead run at third. Bella pulls it again. Well, she came through on that one, Corey. It was an inside. If it was laid out in the middle like we've seen them do a couple times, that might have been a tough one to handle.
And that was a screwball, Mark, that just screwed inside. And Zavala, anything close, he liked the way she's staying alive.
Bella, 3-2 count. Pops it up on the infield. Not what Brad wanted. Ortiz just settles underneath it for the second out.
Now batting number 11.
So not what
Sophie
Brad was
Little.
looking for.
Well, it was a perfect pitch. What Pison was doing, she came, her last 3 pitches were inside, inside, and low. She comes this time, not quite an off-speed pitch.
Sophie Little takes that on the inside corner.
But the eye movement of the batter was adjusted and not able to catch up on that 3-2 pitch, and that's why she pops it up late.
Little batting .324 for Cypress. Off the hands, it's going to drop. And so Little, who gets jammed, but she fights it off, gets an RBI.
And she takes a whack at the
Now
second
batting number
pitch.
20, Cameron Curiel.
Again, being aggressive because she sees the last at-bat where that ball was placed. All she has to do is wait on the off-speed pitch and flare it out to left field.
Cameron Curiel, center fielder, a good center fielder, takes that first pitch for a ball. 4'11", small little player's got great speed, Corey, and if she drops a bunt down cleanly, it's going to be a bang-bang play at first base. Curiel squares again, takes that as a high strike. 1-1 the count. So Cypress putting up a little fence here in the first and second inning. One in the first, one in the second. Pops it up. Center fielder in tight and just pulls it down. And you've got Ashley Diaz taking that out of the air. But not before we get a couple more hits. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 left on third. And as we go to the top of 3, it's now Cypress 2, Mount Sac 1 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. So all of a sudden I see Brad Pickler. I was looking down. Brad comes over and talks about it. I know Brad was thinking Mr. Pavlovich was going to say, let's drop that bunt and go that direction, but it didn't happen. So as we're changing a little things up, Emily Rush staked to a 1-run lead. We'll see if Emily can hold on to it. As we go to the top of the order, Arlie Coronado.
Number 22, Arlie Coronado.
Will come up. Arlie flew out the left her first time up. Infield in, Paige Schaefer over at first, creeps in just a little. Sandoval creeps in from third. Ariando about halfway at short. Huerta almost in a normal second base position as the first pitch is off the plate for a ball. Both these teams, like I said, top in the state of California and in the polls. Rush brings her 0-1 pitch. Just off the plate. Framed really nice there, but Mora, but doesn't get the call. 2-0's the count. That time she brings it a little in on the white, gets the call for a strike. 2-1 by Emily. Strikes out on that.
Okay, so Areli line drive in the left field her first time at bat. Out of Etowanda High School.
So 2-2 count. 2-2 by Rush. Strike 3. So Emily heating it up in the circle right about now.
Now batting number 11.
Strikeout
Ariana
number
Coronado.
2.
And Corey, you almost say, is Emily a strikeout pitcher? I mean, as Ariana Coronado comes up, would you look at her as a strikeout pitcher?
I wouldn't look at her as a strikeout pitcher. Even though she has 45 strikeouts to 20 walks, I think she's one of those pitchers who will get the occasional, get 3 to 4 a game. But she pitches so well and hits her spots that she lets her defense work for her.
So control pitcher, Emily Rush. Right down the middle. That's a pitch that Corey Neyland might have been able to swing at. Wouldn't have hit it, but he'd have swung at it.
I'm swinging at everything, Mark.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1 lead by Cypress. Here in the top of the third. Off speed. Emily throws that pitch quite often in a game.
That's just to disrupt the rhythm of the batter.
2-1 count. Huerta, second hop, quick flip to first for the second out of the inning. So Huerta says, yeah, Mr. Pavlovich, I'm going to prove that I got that glove, and does it right there. Solid second base person
Now batting
for the
number
Cypress
9,
team.
Brianna Goris.
And of course, Corey, I need you to talk more about this young lady because she demonstrated that slugging percentage with a big double her first time up.
Yeah, business management major. And she is one of those players that out of Corona High School do anything. 585 coming into this ball game, Mark. 641 on base percentage.
Takes the first pitch for a strike, and she just added on to that her first time up today.
Yes, she did. But the thing is, watch her at the plate. You see patience from a hitter. You see good leverage in her stance.
And there's another one, driven up the alley. So back-to-back second base. Here she comes, and back-to-back doubles.
The first one produced an run. This one gets her at second base, but you watch her hitting, and you look at her stance. It's very, very even. I'm going to put this in terms I can understand. She gets even. She has bend to her knees. She has an open stance, and she uses something to time the pitch. So when you're a patient hitter, you're not chasing everything. You want to see something there. So when Emily Rush comes in with the fastball down the middle, that's good. Scouting tells you she might come back with that off-speed pitch. If she doesn't hit her zone, which she wanted to get more outside, which happens there, she times it, comes through, and glides forward. She turns her hips forward and then follows through with her bats a second behind her hips and just goes. And she doesn't try to overpower anything and pull it.
Well, you've seen it both times, though. The ones that she's driven for her doubles have been fastballs, and you sort of wonder because her hits have more extra base hits than just singles. You wonder how many times that she is a good mistake hitting batter. So in other words, I make a mistake and throw a fastball over the plate. She's ready for it, and every time she gets it, she drives it up the gap.
Yeah, Coach, she's a good mistake hitter, good ball hitter. Anyway, I mean, she's just one of those players. You see these two at bats. If she tries to pull that last pitch, that's going to be a fly out to deep left field or deep left center, whatever. But she goes with it and strides towards the bat or strides towards the swing, and it goes to right field. Just an impressive batter is Brianna Goris.
So Goris, back-to-back doubles in this game. And that brings up Barcelona, McKenna Barcelona, playing in right field today for the Mount SAC Mounties, hitting .262. Leads the team in strikeouts with 14, so we'll see if Rush goes after. Flies one down the right field line. That's going to be foul. What a grab out in right field by Sophie Little, who just pulls that out of the air.
So the double doesn't hurt. No runs on that one hit, no errors, and a one left on base. So, Mark, we're moving along in the 2.5. It's 2-1 Cypress. And I want you to explain the importance of that last third out right there with the runner on second base against a quality team.
Well, yeah, and really what you do, you don't want a quality team to tie you up. I mean, you've got Emily Rush pitching well from the circle today, and you want Rush to feel like, hey, this isn't a back and forth battle. It's a battle that you said about her. She trusts her defense. And we've seen teams lay out already to make plays out there for. And when you have somebody makes the play like Little did in right field, you'll pitch that one down and not worry about making any mistakes in the circle.
Yeah, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Home plate umpire for today's game, but for the first game, Scott Kahn, and the field ump is Joe Wheaton.
I like the fact they're actually wearing blue. You've got so many umpires wearing black now. It seems like it'd be inappropriate if you yell at the umpire, hey, black. So, you know, we're so used to saying, hey, blue, you know.
Yeah, but that's how I used to beat my friend Kiwan Lee.
Emily Rush comes on up. Emily got that big double. Got sacrificed over to third and then scored the tying run on a wild pitch. Emily pops it up. Just settling underneath it is Riley Morano for the first out.
And not being patient at the plate is Emily Rush. She jumped on that first pitch, and Mark, it was an excellent pitch because it started waist high. It ended chest high.
Yeah, and on those, you're going to hit it on the top of the bat. That's where you get your pop-up from. Emily Thompson, who really hit a nice little sacrifice, comes up now. Emily playing left field. Jordan Thompson, I'm sorry, Emily Rush, Jordan Thompson. So I apologize, Jordan. And there's one more all the way to the backstop. And Corey, that's started going to your registry of being a batter or a base runner. That occasional wild pitch is going to get thrown in this game if you're Cypress at the plate. Jordan pops it up, skies it. Boris just says, I've got it, and that she does. 2 up, 2 down.
Now batting number
Here in the
5,
bottom of 3.
Sandoval.
Pyson does a nice job of pitching down in the zone, Mark.
So Sandoval playing third base. Now comes up. Sandoval, that traditional third hitter. Good batting average. Takes that off the plate. Pyson wanted the call.
That's a cricket fielder. Give me that.
The lefty. Brings that one in, crosses the plate for a strike. 2 woods the count. 2 outs. 2-1 Cypress. Here in the bottom of the third. Way outside.
And a 3-1 count, Mark. This at bat, she's been going in, out, in, out, in, out. We'll see where the next pitch is coming from, if she stays out or comes in. Sandoval too good of a hitter if he come in.
She does. Goes down the right field line, and it drops for a base hit. Sandoval puts on the speed as the ball kicks away. She's going to stop, and Brad stops her right at third base for a stand-up triple.
So a 2-out triple mark by Sandoval, and you mentioned she's a good hitter, and when it's a 3-1 quintessential hitters count, you can't come in and give her anything that she'll like, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and McKenna Barcelona over in right field goes all out for it, Corey. Instead of playing it as a single, decides she can get that third out when she goes down. She can't make the play. The ball kicks away and goes to the fence. And now you have Jordan Thompson, who's got speed, standing over at third base. Now, Brad Pickler walked by me. I got to tell you, last time up and looked at me and said, I know, you would have expected a squeeze play. Brad, well, I'm here, baby.
It'll be interesting if we see one now because he's got an excellent speed at third.
And a great
excellent speed at the plate. So we'll see if he has Schaefer lay one down.
Should I give him the signal?
With 2 outs, you know, I think every run counts. Yeah, I would.
See if Brad got my sign there and go for that squeeze play right here. And if they do, we'll hear about it at the end of this inning. Paige is a versatile hitter because she can drop the bunt and she can also drive the ball as a hitter.
She was an All-American in 2021.
In at the corners for Mount Sac.
360.
High strike called.
16 RBIs.
Thompson over at third with a stand-up triple. Schaefer at the plate. Same pitch. One's a strike, one's a ball.
That one was
1-1
inside.
count.
First one was on the plate. Caught that corner, Mark.
1-1 count. Strike 2 at the knees. So Pison goes high and low.
And now she'll come to the outside.
Ortiz at third, in tight. Goris at first. Drives to center field. Not much of a play. There's an easy fly ball by Ashley Diaz, who hauls it in. So no runs on one hit, no errors, and one left on base as we head to the top of the fourth. It's Cypress 2, Mount Sac 1 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Corey Neyland, Ed Ford, Albert Robles bringing you all the action here on Sportsnet USA.net. Corey, this is the type of game we did expect. Good pitching from the circle so far. Good defense. And then, well, the two big gunners on the team have had timely hitting. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, Emily Rush, and then you look at Goris, who you would think, okay, are they the stars of the team?
I don't think there's stars like they've had in the past. Like there's not really a Brianna Wheeler for a Mount Sac. There's not a Cindy McCollum for Cypress, but they're just Brianna Goris is really, really good. So she is a star. Emily Rush is the foundation for Cypress. So yeah, you can call them stars, but they're just, again, teams that are good. Teams have a history, rich in tradition. I mean, this is the best softball in the community college softball in America right here today.
So Diaz comes to the plate.
I'll add something for you, Mark. They may not be stars, but they are definitely All-Americans.
Okay. Academic All-Americans, we hope. Diaz. Grounded out to shorter first time up.
And now I'm going to change my waffle. They're stars. Put some syrup on that. They're definitely stars.
That's a lot of syrup if you're doing that. Emily takes a little speed off. I like what Emily does too as a pitcher in the circle. She varies her speed so much, Corey. You can't come up and consistently say the same pitch from her every time that you see her.
Exactly.
In on the hands. Nice dig over at third base right there by Sandoval and over to first.
Good short hop. Caught it on that second bounce. Left that glove down, eyed it, and throws it over. That defense, Little, Curiel, and Thompson, and right to left, as we saw Sandoval at third base, Armando at shortstop, Huerta at second, and Schaefer at first.
Bunt attempted, foul. So except for Huerta having that little hiccup early in the game that really didn't cost anything, defense has been solid on both sides of the softball.
Yeah. Eliana Mora behind the plate.
The unforgetting player in a softball game is the battery mate. I think most people just don't expect anything from a catcher nowadays in softball.
I don't know. I think Oklahoma might have the best player in the nation behind the plate.
I don't know. You might have a home run leader thinking she's the best player in the nation.
No argument, but I'm going to, yeah, they're both great.
Framed right on the edge, not getting the call against Bravo. 2-1 for Rush.
And yeah, I do think at the community college level, the catcher is kind of forgotten. You might not have seen a catcher as good since, I don't know, Manoa Waigurtse or Santiago Canyon a few years back.
Yeah. Same pitch framed again. Rush not getting it. Looks like it's on the plate, Corey, but I can't see if they're calling it high because it's letters. They're calling it high, but it's letters. That's at letters. 3-1. Take it down. Adamando, backhand. It's deep from the hole, not in time. Nice play by Adamando over in short. Goes back deep in the hole, and basically you have to have a gun to make that play, no matter if you're a young man or a young woman. That's a tough play for a shortstop.
Yeah, that was a single all the way, just because of positioning, just because of the speed of the ball. They weren't going to get anybody cutting at first base. This will bring up Ortiz, who lined out to first her first at bat.
So runner first with one out. Ortiz fouls it off. So Bravo with that infield single. Fourth hit for Mount Sac. Both teams with 4 hits in this game. Schaefer says she's got it right by the fence, makes a basket catch as Paige comes in and gets it.
Lined out to first her first time out, popped out to first her second time out. And so Morano steps in.
You like what Paige Schaefer does. She calls everybody off on that foul ball and then makes the basket catch so that the fence won't interfere with her making the play on the ball. 2 down, runner still at first. Rush keeps throwing it in the same spot. Corey keeps getting the same call from the umpire.
Keep throwing it to the same spot, Mark.
Runner goes, fouled off. So Mount
Again.
Sac looking to get somebody in scoring position.
Yeah, the spin and rotation on her ball, they can't get a good clean cut on that. They're not seeing it as well as Brianna Goris did in her 2 times at bat. The rest of the Mount Sac hitters aren't seeing it as crisply.
1-1. Adamando has the ball hit right to her and muffs it on the play. That's going to be an E6.
So Morano, you're going to call her just hit the ball and keep it inside. Reached on an error on Huerta in the second. Now she reaches on an error by Adamando at short. So with 2 out and 2 errors now on the game.
And a Mesqua will come to the plate catching. And they walk her back. So let's see if we're going to get a designated runner.
So we're going to get a designated hitter, Mark.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Cassandra Martinez. San Dimas product is Cassandra Martinez.
And that is their backup catcher, also on this team.
273 on the
Now
year.
batting number 12, Cassandra Martinez.
So we can see Martinez stay in the game also as a catcher defensively for Mount Sac.
And what's funny, Mark, in their last game against Long Beach City, 2 of their runs were brought in by 2 pinch hitters.
Russ says, well, I'll tell you what, here's one to hit right down the middle, and Martinez just stares at it.
And that might be the best pitch she sees in this at-bat.
Swings right through that one.
And what you guys say in the first inning, that I'm not a power pitcher? Needs a new glove after that one.
She looks over at the dugout. Emily fiddling with the ball on her hip. Has it in the glove. Right on the inside. Gets jammed. Huerta, clean play. Throws her first. And gets the out. So Huerta comes up with the big play. No runs. 1 hit. 1 error. 2 left on base. But we head for the bottom of the 4th. It's still Cypress 2, Mount Sac 1, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Well, Corey Neyland, it's that big game that you look at where we always talk about the fundamentals of softball. Excellent pitching from the circle, solid defense, and timely hitting. that's exactly what we're seeing in this game so far. In the first one of two, because we'll be back after this game for the double hitter for that second game here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
And Mark, I don't know who's working harder. The players on the field are Ed Forder and Albert Robles. On defense, Mesqua stays in at catcher for Mount Sac. Pison still in the circle. Goris at first. Morano at second. Ariana Coronado still at short. Olivia Ortiz at third base. And in the outfield, Aureli Coronado, Ashley Diaz,
and McKenna Barcelona.
Now batting number 14, Alyssa Huerta.
So Huerta comes up, popped up to first, her first time up. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors on Cypress, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors on Mount Sac. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net, Huerta comes to the plate. Infield comes in on her. Fakes a bunt, takes it for a ball. Huerta batting .458 this season. Takes the next one for a strike. 1-1's the count. Pison brings it up. Huerta takes it the other direction and drops it in for a base hit. Nice hitting by Alyssa. Does what Corey Neyland always suggests. If they're going to give you the outside corner, take the outside corner and take it that direction. Armando now comes up. Again, Mount Sac looking for the sacrifice. So brings Ortiz in at third, Goris in at first. Armando takes that high for a ball.
Doubled and scored a run in the second inning.
On the outside of the plate for a strike. So Pison's getting a call that Rush is not, from where I'm standing. Ball is high and away. Everybody crashing on that one. And if that gets away from the catcher, you've got a runner standing over at second base. Two-one. Tried to drop that down.
Rushed it.
Looking more for a base hit than a sacrifice and attempting to drop that bunt.
Yeah, Hart wasn't into that one, Mark. Rushed it, left it short, didn't follow through.
2-2 count. See if Brad takes the bunt off with no outs. He does. Almost thrown away.
And she's had problems in this game with that rise pitch. There have been 3 that got away from her, 2 that resulted in wild pitches.
Yeah, Mesqua working hard behind the plate, catching today for Mount Sac. On the outside, could have been ball 4. Goris goes over and has it bounce off her glove in foul territory.
Armando dropped her shoulder on that one because she had a good cut, but she dropped her shoulder, which means she's going to pop that one up. Goris got turned around trying to make that play.
Now here's the big question. If the next one is dropped in there for a hit, you can call that one going for an error over at first base.
Yeah, you would call it an error. I wouldn't.
3-2. Takes it right there. Should be a turn of 2. Nice turnover at the first. 4-6-3 on a great pickup by Morano. Coronado coming over and back to Goris. Sweet looking double play.
Now batting number 31, Bella Savola.
Corey, that was a clean double play, to say the least.
Like we said, however you add it, that equals 2. 4 plus 6 minus 3 equals 2.
Bella Savala now up. Bella takes that on the inside for a strike.
Popped a third her first time at bat.
Takes that high, just underneath the elbows. 1-1's the count. Beautiful day here at Cypress. Not too warm, slight little breeze blowing. Breeze hasn't helped the ball yet this day. Bella turns on that, pulls it foul.
Savala's anxious at the plate.
Mount Sac, dressed like everybody from sportsnetusa.net. We're all in our black outfits today. Oh, Ed Ford. Well, you got your black coat on there, Ed, so I thought. Got his little, white shirt, little tag. Ed Ford, the dissenting vote, as Bella hooks it down the line, foul. Well, you would expect the leader to be in a different looking shirt.
Yeah.
The 3 blind sheep following Ed. 1-2 count to Bella. Bella gets a high fastball, pulls it foul. It's going to drop safely out of play. 1-2, 2 outs, 2-1. Here in the bottom of 4. Yeah, they scored early, and since then, well, everybody has calmed down just a little. Except maybe Ed and Albert.
They're working hard.
They are. They're out there. They're getting loose up for it. They know it's a doubleheader, so they're loosening up, staying ready for that second game. It's off the plate for a ball.
And on that one, you can tell she didn't have the follow-through she needed on the wild pitches. On those different wild pitches. On this one, you see the follow-through wasn't there, and her arm angle tried to come across instead of through.
Bella, the designated player today. Turns on that. Just foul. Albert Robles says maybe if it was a half an inch more, it would have been a fair ball. At least that's what Albert's telling us. Almost on the line is what I'm getting over here. I don't know. I thought maybe they were dancing down there. It was close enough to call it fair. Corey Neyland?
You just want to stay up in the zone to Savala on this one. You don't want to get anything down.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner.
You watch the replay here on that inside. And you're right, Mark. That one was a call that Emily Rush has not gotten before. And that one, Pison, as you saw the glove move on the replay, ever so slightly, they called that strike 3. Looked like ball 4, but hey, what you gonna do?
So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Well, we're through 4. It started off early. Who would have thought it? It's now 2-1. Cypress over Mount Sac here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Neyland, and the old man calling all the games here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
And there was an interesting thing you brought up earlier when you asked Mount Sac, with the lineage at Mount Sac, why don't more players go to Cal State Fullerton, as the coach at Fullerton was out Mount Sac for a few years? That's an interesting aspect. And what's the answer you got?
You know what? I got they don't get a lot of calls, which surprises me because we know somebody that calls the games in softball over at Cal State Fullerton, and he really says, hey, they need more. When you look at the circle, they sort of throw the way you think that are acceptable ERAs. At Cal State Fullerton.
If I was a team like Fullerton and a couple other teams around the area, the first places I would look would be teams like Cypress
and Mount Sac.
Yep.
Coronado started off today. She flew out to left, struck out in the third inning. Arlie Coronado, 0 for 2 in today's game. So Rubelina Rojas is the head coach for Mount SAC. Jim Bowler, Erica Eklund, and Vicky Gutierrez are the coaching staff for the Mounties.
And when you go back to why teams don't recruit the junior community college players, especially around the area, they want that big splash, they want that name, but teams like Fullerton, teams like a Northridge team, they need winners on their teams to build a program. And when you recruit from players like from Cypress and Mount SAC, you're recruiting actual winners who will enhance your program. And
a little slap play. Armando watches it snake its way, and then Huerta finally tracks it down for a base hit.
And Areli Coronado in that seeing eye single puts a runner on first.
11,
no outs.
Coronado.
And I like the fact, Corey, you bring that up, because really what Cal State Fullerton needs, or a Long Beach State needs, is winning programs right now. Bring back the old days. Drop down a bunt. Beautiful run. Rush picks it up. Is it in time? Not in time. So another base hit. Back-to-back singles. Sweet looking bunt by Coronado as Ariana just deadened the ball in front of first base. And you had to have Rush fielded on the play.
Now batting number 9, Brianna Goris.
So Goris with 2 on, already has 2 doubles, 1 RBI.
Outfield for Cypress backs up just a little with Goris coming up. Takes the first pitch right down Broadway and says, thank you, I don't think I'll swing at it. Thompson left, Curiel in center, Sophie Little in right. Need to be heads up. That one outside. Curiel can go and get the ball. Corey, you look at, they're all playing straight away in left, center, and right. Huge gaps in the alleys, in the outfield for Cypress.
Goris leads the team in walks as well with 11.
That one high and tight, she swings right through it.
And she tried to come up over the top of that pitch.
1-2 count. Rush looks over to get the call. Can't hang a ball. See if she goes back to the outside. She's gone in and out. Back on the inside, just off the plate. Corey Neyland.
There's a replay. You know, that's a very similar pitch to the third called strike last inning by Pison.
Rush just takes enough off so that Goris is out in front. Goris with a big double in the first. Just comes back and duplicates it in the third. Now with 2 runners on, no outs. Would like to do it one more time. Rush brings it home. Right down the middle. It's going to be foul. Sophie Little trying to track it down, maybe get 1 out, but everybody would have tagged on that play, Corey. She's going away. Both runners would have tagged up and headed for second and third.
And you would have taken that tag just to get that out on Goris, because you can see the type of power she has to all sides of the field.
Two count. Let's see if Rush goes back inside. She's been successful. She does. Fouled away.
Screwball on the inside.
She's been successful going inside against Goris here now.
Yeah, as long as she gets that movement on her pitch, and as long as that spin on that screwball keeps trailing inside, that's going to be a good pitch. But if you just don't want to make a mistake here.
2-2. 2 runners on. See if the runners go in motion. Get the infield to move with him. Down the middle. Armando over to first for one. No play. Ball dropped. Throw at the plate. The runner's out. Nice play by Paige Schaefer, who knocks the ball down with her glove. Doesn't panic, Corey Neyland. Turns and goes to home. So that's a 6-4 to 3-2 double play.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just scored it different on mine.
But you're wrong.
On mine, no, I'm right on mine. I'm not the official scorebook. I call it 6-4, then separate that to 3-2. You're good.
No, I'm at a.
Mark, it all ends up in 2. It all equals 2, okay? It all equals 2.
And Emily Rush says, you guys can score it any way you want to. I got what I needed.
Oh, man. No, but if you are scoring at home and if you want to do that correctly, it is 6-4 to 3-2 double play.
That's what it would be. Thank you, Mr. Neyland.
Yes.
Now here's the one question. I thought Paige threw her glove at the ball.
No, it just came
fell
out.
off?
Yeah, it just
Okay,
fell off.
right.
Emily Barba will pinch hit out of Colony High School.
So Barba, normally an outfielder for this Mount Sac team. That's where she plays defensively.
She'll be hitting for McKenna Barcelona. Top of the 5th mark, 2-1 Chargers still.
Now batting for Mount Sac, number 3, Emily Barba.
And the thing that you did nice on that double play, Corey, you got the 2 lead runners on that. So you got the runner at second plus the runner who would have been at third thrown out at the plate. You have to get an extra base hit to tie this game up. So that's how you look at this defensively on turning that double play, getting both lead runners. Two outs. Swung through by Barba. So 2 quality double plays in this game, both of them. One made by Mount Sac, one just made by Cypress. Here in the top of the 5th, Emily Rush. Barba flies out, going back on the ball easily was Jordan Thompson, and Jordan just hauls it in for the 3rd round. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. As we hit the bottom of the 5th, it's Cypress 2, Mount Sac 1, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Neyland, and the old guy calling all the action here on Sportsnet, USA.net. A little Cypress baseball next week on Sportsnet, USA.net. And then we sort of take a road trip, a little more softball. That's right, we go back over to Cerritos and have a couple different days of softball, and we get to see this Mount Sac team again, taking on those Cerritos Falcons here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Albert Robles, Ed Ford, and myself will be on the road next week. Call a little baseball and softball here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed, have to look and see what's going around in the rest of the state of California.
Yes, we have some scores. Right now, it is final. Santa Ana over Cerritos, a very tight game, 1-0, and we know who pitched for Santa Ana. So
Wow.
a 1-0 victory. So Cerritos hangs in there, but not enough. Bakersfield gets shut out by Ventura as Ventura bounces back from
number 11,
yesterday's
Sophie
loss
Little.
to Fullerton, and we'll get to some more scores later on.
Santa Ana's team ERA now has got to be down to about 0.85 at least when you look at it as a team ERA. Sophie Little comes up. I think their ERA going into the game was 0.92 as a team.
That's acceptable. Santa Ana, one of their losses were to Mount SAC earlier this season.
You know, nothing makes me happier than seeing all these low ERAs, especially with the man standing to my right.
Doesn't guarantee anything. One bad game.
Sophie Little takes that high and away.
But it does give you a good chance of getting to that championship level that you want to reach.
Absolutely. Little batting .324 this season. On base percentage of .378, a slugging percentage of .412.
That was a strike. That was there, Mark.
Corey with his x-ray vision looking through the umpire to see home plate. So Sophie works her way on with a walk to start off this inning.
Ducking a couple more scores for you
20,
guys.
Cameron Curiel.
These are 5th inning scores. San Diego Canyon leading Canyons 5-1. And also in the bottom of the 5th, it's San Mateo 4 and Solano 1.
Santiago Canyon, interesting school. I talked to Riverside about them over there, and they agreed. Lisa's team can hit. If she can only find a pitcher, is what they told me.
Let me put it this way. A 2.0 earned run average for their pitching staff, that would be good enough for a championship.
With the way they're hitting,
with the way they hit, yes.
They lead the state of I think they're second in the state of California in fielding percentage.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, they play defense well, they hit well. That was one where you don't need them 0.92. You just need somebody who can keep you involved in the game.
Yeah, just give up less runs than we score.
Yeah,
and we're going to win.
Yeah. And they've had sort of a resurgence this year, Santiago Canyon. We'll get into that OEC standings in just a moment, but they've had a little bit of a resurgence.
They do. That team does remind you of the 2016 team. Drop a bunt, steal second, which is what they did in 2016. We'll see if Curiel drops a bunt here. She does. Straight back to the mound. Pison throws over to first, gets her, but a successful bunt to move the runner.
Yeah, but the difference being they're not crushing home runs this year like they did in 2016, 2017.
Yeah, they had Vigurtse and Olagi, who was a player of the year that year. Emily, she could just bash, and she would hit home runs just by showing up.
It's on the outside of the plate. So Emily comes up, got on, grounded out to second. Emily's probably saying, wait a minute, why don't I get that call? Emily goes after the pitch. Goris comes down and pulls it out of the air.
Now batting number 15, Jordan Thompson.
And Corey Neyland, that swing is an induced swing by the umpire, giving that first strike that was so far off the plate that Emily Rush felt she had to go after that second pitch.
Too enticing.
Yeah. Jordan Thompson comes up now, left fielder. Solid defensive player, solid outfield for this Cypress team. When you look at the three ladies out there, Thompson left, Gurrell in center, and Little in right. It's off the plate. Of course, you've got Coronado in left, Diaz in center, and Barcelona in right for Mount SAC. Three solid outfielder players.
Thompson, a former CIF Player of the Year out of Cypress High School.
Thompson thought she had all of it, didn't quite get enough. And she flies out to right field by Barcelona pulling it in. So no runs, no hits, no errors, one left on base. And as we head to the top of the sixth, well, it's by the skin of their teeth, or one run at least. It's Cypress 2, Mount Sac 1, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ed Ford, Albert Robles. Ed, when we look at the conference standings right now,
it's still Santa Ana, Mark. They have the perfect 11-0 record. Cypress in second place. They're just a half game in front of Santiago Canyon. Cypress at 9-2, Santiago Canyon at 9-3. Then Fullerton comes in at 6-5, and Orange Coast at 5-6. Saddleback 2-9, 2-10 for Riverside, 1-10 for Golden West. So this season we probably will not see the OEC producing 6 playoff teams. They should be able to get 5 in. Orange Coast and Fullerton can get in. Over in the South Coast Conference, though, they have a good chance of getting 6 teams in. Mount Sac and Cerritos tied at 11-2. So the Mounties and the Falcons are tied for first place. So we may have a game for first place next Thursday when we have those 2 teams here on Sportsnet, USA.net at 3 o'clock. Long Beach just a little behind at 10-4. Then it's Rio Hondo, which they've been playing fairly good as of late. They're 7-6. El Camino at 7-7. ELAC at 5-8. Pasadena City College 1-12, and LA Harbor at 1-12. So the possible playoff teams in the South Coast Conference, of course, would be Mount Sac, Cerritos, Long Beach, Rio Hondo could get in there. Also El Camino, and perhaps ELAC, East Los Angeles, will get in because they have a very good RPI at this point, even though they are under 500. But you know what I think about under 500 teams getting in the playoffs.
Rush holding on to a 1-run lead in this game. Down the middle. Oh.
Wow.
Not getting the calls from Blue. Goes the outside. Fouled away.
1 ball, 2 strikes. But you like Emily Rush's demeanor in this circle, though, Mark.
Yeah. 2-1. Pitcher's duel. Right away. 2-2. Hey, Corey, when you think about Pyston for Mount Sac, she's really done a good job in the circle.
Yeah, they both have.
It's pitcher's duel today in this first game. Big swing. Strike 3. So Diaz goes down on strikes to start off the first inning.
Now batting number 4.
3rd K
Desiree
for Rush.
Bravo.
And with Bravo coming up to bat, infield single her last time at bat on a deep ground ball in the hole, the 5-6 hole.
1 run, 6 hits, no errors for Mount Sac. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Cypress. Rush in control. Corey, she just seems so relaxed in the circle. She's varied her speed. She's varied her ins and outs, her ups and downs. She really looks like she's in control in this game. Emily rocks. Brings it home. Oh, and just a little high. Paige Schaefer at first. Huerta at second. Adamondo at short. Sandoval at third. Thompson in left. Carell in center. And Little in right. That's the defense for Cypress College. Offered. Ball outside. Two errors by Cypress, but neither have been costly in this game. That one foul down the right field lane, out of play.
Emily Rush is masterful with her spin, Mark, because that's the same exact motion. It comes off of her fingers at the same rate. But again, when she takes a little bit off of it halfway through, that rotation lessens. Just maybe one rotation less to take that speed off just a little, and you can't get a full good hack on it.
Down the middle, finds that spot between second and short. A bobble out in left field, but no advancement on the base hit. So Bravo turns on it, finds the empty hole, and gets a base hit.
And again, because the plate is a little squeezed for Rush, she has to come in there and work more on the plate than she would normally want to. As we've got another pinch hitter.
So Ortiz is not going to hit.
Looks like Alyssa Gonzalez will step to the plate. Gonzalez, a sophomore out of Ayala High School.
Now batting number
225
21,
this season.
Alyssa Gonzalez.
So Gonzalez for Ortiz. 7 hits for Mount Sac. And yet, only 1 run. The runner went, ball fouled away. You can hear Brad from the dugout saying, hey, make sure you make the tag on the runner if all of a sudden you swing through the pitch. In a couple steps in the outfield for Cypress. Inside. And that inside pitch has been productive all day long.
Yeah, catcher Mora was setting up on the outside. Pitch came on the inside, foul, tipped it. But again, good job behind the plate by the unsung player.
Yeah, Mora's done an excellent job as catcher today on the inside. Rush goes to second. They get the lead runner on the play, and that's good enough.
Because all you need is that, you don't need to make that tag. It's just a force at second, so 1-6 is your scoring for the second out. Leaves Ortiz, or excuse me, Gonzalez,
Now
who
batting number 8, Riley Moreno.
fielder's choice.
Moreno comes up, and of course, like we said, 2 errors on this Cypress defense today. Corey Neyland, she's been involved in both of them as the hitter. On the edge for a strike. 1 run, 7 hits for Mount Sac. 2 runs, 5 hits for Cypress in this game. Rush looking good in the circle. Comes inside for a ball. And of course, here's the big question. Are you going to see Emily in the second game? We'll see what Brad Pickler chooses to do. Little drop shot. Curiel goes out 2, slide for it and gets away. Tying run, heading for the plate, the throw, and on a drop shot in the alley where both outfielders go down to make the play, the ball squeezes its way through and the game is tied.
And Mark, that's one of those plays where we saw it earlier.
Now batting number 42, Mireya Amesqua.
And Curiel holding her shoulder as she walks back to center field. Trying to work it out. Her right shoulder, her throwing arm in center field with 2 outs. And Mark, you go back to a Cypress hit. Right fielder goes for it, gets behind, advances the runner on a triple. This here, you have both Curiel and Little going for the ball instead of playing the ball and letting that bounce, keeping the runners from runner at second or first, excuse me, from advancing home and maybe getting them to third base instead of scoring a run. With 2 outs, you're still at 2-1, but instead they both dive for the ball and a run comes across.
And the go-ahead run goes all the way to third base.
And then the communications factor, too. if one player knows that I'm to make the all-out effort, you hang back, that makes a difference too.
Yeah, that's a great point by Ed Ford.
Yeah, because that's one of the fundamentals of baseball. You got to communicate. One dives, the other is backing up just in case you don't make that catch.
Yeah, and the fundamentals of softball also.
Oh, I should have said softball. I said baseball, huh? My bad.
And now Emily Rush, who has pitched a good game, Corey, needs to get this out to hold on to the lead here in the 6th inning. Down low. 3-0. Three and 0 count. Taking Armando over to first in time, but not before Mount Sac gets that tying run in. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Well, we're tied at 2. It's Cypress 2, Mount Sac 2 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Ed Ford, since I've got him on the air, and Corey Neyland. Ed, you brought up where Cerritos is tied with Mount Sac. I've got to ask you, is that the surprise softball team this season, or would you say it is? Because we've been watching softball for years.
I don't know if it's really a surprise. I was thinking about this last night. I would just say that in 2020, Cerritos Falcons and Cody, they started off really rough. Didn't look like they were going to have a good season. I think it's not really a surprise, but I think Cody and Megan over at Long Beach went out and did some recruiting, influenced some high school players to come and play for both of those squads, and both of those coaches have turned around their squads, and now they're, Cody in conference is tied with Mount Sac. Megan is right behind there. They're both ranked in the top 10. I mean, they have turned things around and have some really competitive teams, which you could see both of those teams going into the state championship tournament. It's more than possible. I think they'll both get home berth. So I'm not sure it's a surprise, but I would just say that Cody and Megan did great jobs of going out there and getting players.
And I'm going to say you're going to agree with Ed in every one of his words. Yes?
Yeah, well, I'm going to agree with Ed on the Cerritos and the Long Beach, yes. Because, as he said, Cerritos started out strong and finished poorly. Same with Long Beach. Or, excuse me, they started off slow in Cerritos and finished strong. Long Beach is the opposite of last year. They started out strong and finished slowly last year. But the surprise team, Mark, is Santa Ana.
So Sandoval starts the bottom of the 6th here.
So Sandoval, Schaefer, and Huerta, the meat of the lineup, and you have a good opportunity to get that run back.
And Pison's only given up 5 hits in this game.
And struck out only 1 and 2 wild pitches.
Gorse at first, Morano at second, Ariana Coronado at short, and at third, Olivia Ortiz. That's the infield for Mount Sac. Take it right back up the middle. Nice little sweet hop, and if you want it, Ariana Coronado said, "Thank you for bouncing right in my glove, baby,"
that was
that just made it easy.
Mark, that was a single. Oh, let me hop on up into that glove. And Coronado gets the bounce.
Paige Schaefer comes up. You look at the outfield for Mount Sac. It's Arlie Coronado in left, Ashley Diaz in center, and then McKenna Barcelona in right for Mount Sac. Paige Schaefer takes that pitch for a strike. 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. for Mount Sac. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Cypress. Page tries to bunt that one. Can't get it. So you like Santa Ana as the surprise team so far this year?
Yeah, just to see it, just because they're playing so well. And they've been a decent team the last few years. They just needed something to catapult them, and they've got it this year.
Page tries to pull it through, can't get it past Mariano. So 2 up, 2 down quickly here in the bottom
number 14, Alyssa
of the 6th.
Huerta.
Huerta popped out to first, then got a single in the 4th. Well, I will say when you've got a team ERA under 1, you should be winning.
Yes, you should be winning, yes, but it's a surprise that they've got a team ERA under 1, and they're undefeated in the Orange Empire Conference.
Their pitcher is the number 2 pitcher on the Mexican national team.
Doesn't matter, Mark. It's Santa Ana, okay? That's a surprise.
Wow. Wow. Ed, Corey disregards talent.
I didn't disregard any talent. That's a surprise team.
Two and one's the count.
Who's the surprise team again?
Santa
He said
Ana.
Santa Ana.
Undefeated in the OEC.
Yeah, but last year they challenged for first place.
Undefeated in the OEC, guys. That's a surprise.
Yeah, they were good last year, but they're outstanding this year. Drive to left field. Easy little grab right out of the air there by Arlie Coronado. So quickly, 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to the top of 7. Everybody's nodded at 2 here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
But what's not a surprise is we're going into the 7th inning between Mount Sac and Cypress, knotted at 2.
Yeah, that's really what we expected. And really, Corey, when you think about it, I don't know, I would have to say maybe a different defensive play in right center.
That definitely could be the turning moment of this ball game, because if you get that and you play that bounce, you've got a runner at third. It wasn't a runner who was fast at first base who was going to outleg you. If you play the ball and just, hey, you get out there, you cover, round off on it, you got a runner at third, you got a runner at first. You've got 2 outs, but you still got a 1-run lead.
So we're knotted at 2 as we head to the top of the 7th. Corey Neyland's got, well, Santa Ana is the surprise team. Ed Ford's got maybe Long
Leading off
Beach
the
City
7th inning,
College
number 22,
and
Arlie
Cerritos
Coronado.
College as 2 improved teams. Maybe we'll head up to Northern California next and see what's going on up there.
And I think Cerritos and Long Beach, I think that attitude, both you and Ed mentioned the recruiting and the attitude to get those athletes on those teams are much improved. And I think the improved team up north is going to be San Jose.
So Coronado slaps it up the middle for a base hit to start off the 7th.
So Areli gets her first hit, or excuse me, her second hit in as many at-bats. And Butte's only lost 1 game.
Coronado.
So 9 hits now for Mount Sac in this game. 2 hits in the 5th, 2 hits in the 6th. They start off the 7th with a base hit. So I thought maybe we'd see a bunt attempted, not here on this one.
And if you're, I think it's a little bit different with Mount Sac. You'd like to see a bunt, but you've got Brianna Goris coming up next, so you don't need to bunt.
Tries the bunt away. So Schaefer crashing from first Sandoval crashing from third. Huerta on the wheel play with cover from second base. And you watch Alyssa cheating over a little more towards the right field line. Just off the plate. 2-1. Sandoval off the line, about 4 feet inside the bag at third, still playing a possible bunt.
Ariana did have a bunt single last at bat, though.
Bunt dropped, fouled away at home plate. 2-2's the count. 1 run in the first for Mount Sac. They tie it in the 6th. Cypress starts off with a run in the first and a run in the second. And we're knotted at 2. 14 hits in this game. Rush. Just off the plate. Corey Neyland again. I got to have you watch these pitches. I don't think she's getting the call.
Here's your replay, and they're going to say that was just a little bit high because it was right down the middle. That's strike 3 called. But hey, we're sitting back here, and I'd still call strike 3.
A little pop fly. Paige Schaefer goes back. She hauls it in easily. So important pop out.
Now batting number 9, Brianna Goris.
So Goris comes up. Big double in the first. Another double in the third. Then she hit to that 6-4 to 3-2 double play, which was an important double play at that time. Goris bunts. Drops a sweet one. Throw to first. They get her. Oh, what a throw and play. You've got to give it to Mora that comes out, jumps on the ball, makes the turn, and gets her at first base.
Because nobody was expecting that. Great job by Mora.
Now batting number 3, Emily Barba.
But again, the burst from behind the plate to spin and throw out.
So Brad's going to go and talk now. Here in the top of the 7th, tied at 2. This is where Brad likes to come out and talk to his infielder so that everybody knows what's going on, what plays you're making, where you're going with the ball, if it's hit at you or about you. We'll see if that's what happens here. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Neyland, Gabby Neyland tucked away in the shadows of the depths of Cypress College here.
There are no shadows here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because if there were, she would definitely be in a shadow.
9 state championships for Brad Pickler.
That's impressive. That's not bad.
Did I read that he went to the finals 27 times? I'm going to have to
He's gone
look
to the
at that.
States 27 yeah.
times. Okay.
But maybe not actually the final game 27 times. He's been there a lot, though. And it's one of those things that you and Ed have a running conversation about, is Brad the best community college softball coach ever? And really, he's in the top 2 if he's not 1, because there's only 2 options. And it'd be hard pressed. And based on the talent level, I'm not even gonna say talent level, based on the competition level.
Here in California.
Here in California, Brad's number 1.
Okay. Nice grab over there at third, and I tell you what, good play by Sandoval. That was one of those could have gone through the wickets and doesn't. And Cypress takes a big breath of release. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, we're knotted at 2. It's Mount Sac 2, Cypress 2. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
But what also that timeout that Brad takes at that moment is it relaxes your team. It calms them down just a little bit to take a breath in an important situation, in an important time. So you're not rushing at third base to pick that ball up. where it could have gone through the wickets, as you said.
So Armando should start things off here for Cypress. Pison, 2 runs, only 5 hits given up in this game so far. And Corey Neyland, she's...
As a dad that sent 2 kids that used to play ball, you don't know how important it is.
Thank you. Corey, only one walk by Pison in this whole game. And I mean, that's the thing you got to bring up too. She's only given up 5 hits, but only 1 walk in this game.
Yes.
Leading it
So
off for the Chargers,
that's as important.
number 3, Cameron Armando.
Home plate umpire Scott Kahn, field umpire Joe Wheaton. And again, 2 gentlemen who have had control of this ball game and a good job of really making sure there's no controversy.
And there hasn't been. You haven't heard, except the parents and me occasionally.
They've been consistent.
Armando at the plate. Here in the bottom of 7, tied at 2. Takes that one for a ball. A big double in the first, then into a tailor-made double play in the 4th. That one high and away.
And Armando needs to groove one here because she's going to get a good pitch.
Outfield steps in for Mount Sac again. They play shallow. Take it back up. Nice backhand grab over to first. Oh, sweet play right there by Riley Morano. Goes back, goes to her right, backhands it, sets the foot, and makes the play.
Armando got a pitch that she wanted, but just a better play at second base mark. I mean,
yeah, Morano sets, puts that glove down on a backhand, and then just makes the nice throw to first base to get the first runner out.
and what she did is you saw that replay. As she walked or went through the backhand, she didn't stop with the backhand and just threw her glove out. She went all the way through with the backhand bend of the legs and really came up firing in position.
Bella open for a hit, takes that off the plate, inside. Bella popped to third and then struck out in the 4th inning. Sophie Little on deck for Cypress. Bella takes that for a strike. 1-2, 1 out, tied at 2. 7th inning. Ed Ford, Albert Robles, Corey Neyland, Gabby Neyland, and a great turnout by the parents today. Bella fouls that off. They really do. They have a great turnout today. I mean, there's a lot of parents out here, Corey, on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here at Cypress. Brad Pickler facing Rubelina Rojas.
Little confusion at the plate. They thought it was simply a strike and a drop ball for strike 3. Bounced or foul tipped by Bella.
One and two, 2-2.
Again, Pison with a nice job of changing eye location of the batter. Let's see if she reverts back to another inside pitch.
She does. Bella just creeps it out of play on that one.
She's ahead. She's really ahead on that swing.
Well, for a lefty, Bella gets her hands through really, really quick as a left-handed hitter.
Is there such a thing as being too quick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bison thought, you know, you've been giving me that strike all day long. All day long. Bella's worked the count full. 3-2 pitch to Bella. Once again, pulls it foul.
Like you said, Mark, a little bit too quick.
Bella Savala. You can see her come in here as that relief pitcher for Cypress. 350. 1 home run. Be nice right about now. Walks. And if you're a Mount Sac parent, you're going, wait a minute. And if you're a Cypress parent, you go, finally, he's calling it right.
Wow. Good at-bat. Great at-bat for Savala.
Yeah, Bella, who is really a good hitter. So we're going to have a little conversation. Brad should bring out a designated runner. He does. That's going to be Ilana Mora. Do you like that rule? Do you like that rule in softball? With
Which
the
rule?
designated runners and being able to change runners?
I love the rules in softball. I just think it adds more excitement to the game. I think it adds a little more focus as a player and as a coach on what you're doing. There's definitely more strategy involved when you can bring in players, take out players, and
Re-enter them.
yeah,
You know?
coordinate. You got to do a better job. I love it.
So Sophie Little will be coming to the plate. So we have a designated runner over there. Sophie Little had an RBI single in the second, walked in the fifth. And this is, do you get daring now as a coach and maybe start a runner? Or do you play it traditional? Albert Robles says, I start my runner. Corey Neyland?
Well, if I'm laying down a bunt, yeah. You start your runner because you want to ensure they get to second base. You want to be sure that they get a runner in scoring position, and a new catcher in the ball game for.
And that's Ariana Coronado. No. Oh, Anna Marie
Now
Gutierrez.
number 11, Sophie Little.
And she has caught already this season for Mount Sac, so it's not somebody behind the plate that's not comfortable with a glove. Goris at first, Marano at second. Bunt dropped down, picked up. Pison throws it into right field. We'll have runners at second and third.
As he tried to stretch the play on the overthrow, Little tried to stretch it to second base. She was thrown out in good gun by Barba in right field to throw her out. So now there's 2 outs, but you still have a runner in Mora at third. Excuse me, 1 out with the runner at third is
Now
Mora.
number 20, Cameron Curiel.
No, there should be 2 outs.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 outs with the runner at third.
yes. Because the first out was Adamando.
Correct.
And there was an error on the play.
Yes, there was.
2 outs. Fly ball to right field for out number 3. So we get a little free softball. here in game number 1. No runs. 1 hit, no one walk, no hits, and 1 error as we head to the top of the 8th. We're knotted up at 2. It's Mount Sac 2, Cypress 2, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Well, you wanted to put in a little extra hour out here.
Hey, Diaz, Bravo, and Ortiz scheduled. So that's going to be Diaz, Bravo, and maybe Gonzalez, who pinch hit for Ortiz in the top of the 6th inning. We'll see who comes up to bat at that time. So, again, when you have 2 of the best teams in the nation, what would you expect? You expect nothing less than playing extra innings.
Yeah, ranked in the top of the rankings, in the rankings themselves, dropped in the top of the RPI, which will determine playoffs this season.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we had a comment earlier about East Coast softball as well, Mark, how East Coast softball is really coming up and improving over the years. And with that, with facilities being built to rival or entice West Coast players to go to the East Coast, that's really helping
Leading off
college
number 6,
softball
Ashley Diaz.
at the NCAA levels, NAI levels, and also community college players. A lot of California players you see in Arizona now.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Rush still in the game in the circle. Throws that first strike. Diaz will start off the 8th.
0 for 3 so far.
Huerta comes over, has it all the way, calls it off. Little gets out of the way, so 1 up, 1 down.
Now batting number 4, Desiree Bravo.
Bravo now comes up. Grounded out to short. Then had a single in the 4th. And then popped up in the 6th. And of course, you know, let us not forget, we talk about, you know, we make the game so important, but these are all student athletes. And, you know, when you could talk about some of the great players like maybe a Dot Richardson or a Lisa Fernandez that used softball to get where they are today, how great this sport really is to the student athlete.
And what you love about the sport is those 2 are still heavily involved in the game of softball. Many times, and I've had family members who grown up playing the game of softball and said, yeah, I don't want to deal with it anymore because of the grind that you've had. And honestly, Mark, the average softball player starts playing at 6 years old.
You know, you're just lucky she's at an air shot. You'd get punched next time you saw her.
That's why I never tell her when the games are. No, but from 6 to 18, you're playing, and it's a grind, and you've got this summer, and you got travel ball, and you got tournaments.
Ball is off the plate, 3-1 the count.
And back when you can recruit a 12-year-old, that's added pressure. And so just that Dot, and you mentioned them, and Lisa Fernandez coaching at prominent schools is good for the game.
Fouled out. Out of play. Yeah, and you talked about it too. So many of the women that you talk about that give back to the game. I mean, that's the thing that I appreciate. And you know, you look how some of them, I mean, we talked about Lisa down at Santiago, PhD. Your friend over at Riverside, PhD. You know, they've used softball to allow themselves to get these educations. So Bravo walks her way on.
And that's the first walk
Now batting number 19, Olivia Ortiz.
given up by Emily Rush today.
Yeah. So it brings up Ortiz. Lined out to first, popped out to first. and they get on to fielder's choice in the 6th inning.
And the
Runner at first, 1 out. Infield creeps in a little. Strike on the outside of the plate. Nobody showing a bunt on that one.
And Mark, continuing that conversation, you've got assistant coaches for Cypress, Melanie Okazaki and Nicole Wise as assistant coaches. Very good.
That one fouled off.
Actually, Cypress softball greats getting into the coaching aspect of the game. And you're going to see more women coaches in leadership responsibilities.
So Emily quickly up on 0-2 count. That one fouled down the right field line. Out of play. Cross the out of play fence. See if Bravo goes. She was going on that pitch, Mr. Neyland.
I'd send Bravo every pitch, Mark.
Sandoval at third. Adamondo at short. Huerta at second. Schaefer at first. That one fouled away by the snack bar. Umpire getting a couple extra balls on that foul ball, filling up the little ball bag on the side, making sure he's got them so they can continue to play. Play doesn't slow down. That one to the backstop, so the runner will advance.
That's a pass ball, Mark.
That's what I've got it down on my sheet. Corey Neyland right there.
So now as a batter, you can be a little bit more aggressive.
And you take it right up the middle. Runner stops. Runner at the corners. Runner advances to second on the throw home. So it's 5 consecutive innings now that Mount Sac has gotten at least 1 hit.
Yeah, they found their groove. And again, that second run, that misplay in the outfield and right field, we don't know what would have happened, but Cypress would have had a better chance of getting out of that inning without that run scoring. But with 10 hits, Mount Sac is there on the opposite side of the spectrum saying, we just needed to get our groove. We just needed to keep hitting. And eventually good things will happen.
So another pinch hitter coming up.
So Isabella Gurul
Now batting number 24, Isabella Grul.
And this is with Mount Sac. They aren't afraid to stretch and use their bench. We've seen it in this game today.
She had a pinch hit RBI against Long Beach yesterday.
So go ahead run. Third base. 1 out. First pitch for a ball. Garul comes up, not at a 2. Drops the bunt. They've got the runner. They're
going to say tipped, foul tip down. So foul tip.
So Scott comes out and says, wait a minute, it would never hit the bat. The umpire says, no, it did. It was a foul ball. The catcher dropped it.
Your replay? Here's your replay again, and we'll see if it actually indeed. Yeah, it
looked like it hit the
yeah.
bat.
2-1's
It
the
did.
count. So Mount Sac was going to drop a squeeze play. Foul ball, stops that. Off speed. Nice play over third, just stopping the ball. Throw to second, didn't get the runner. Bases are loaded.
Mark, we've got a replay on this here, and we'll see that play at second base if that tag was made in time. Ooh, not in time. She was safe.
So bases are loaded.
So
One
we can't
out.
say the umpires are blowing any calls. They're getting them right.
Yes, they are. They're on it.
Now batting number 10, Anne-Marie Gutierrez.
So Gutierrez now, who came in to catch in this game. Bases loaded, 1 out. Takes that first strike. 2 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Mount Sac. 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Cypress.
Gutierrez lays off the high heat. Good pitch by Rush.
So the infield is in. This has always been a debatable play for me with bases loaded. Ball 2.
Why is that?
I think if I'm at my normal position, I should be able to get the runner. If I can get a runner at first, I can get the runner at home.
I disagree with that.
I don't.
I think it's a much more difficult play to throw home from your normal depth. If it's to the shortstop playing at their normal depth, that's a much more difficult play to throw home. For one, you're not used to it. For two, you got to be oh so precise.
It's
Catch.
a force play.
Yeah,
3
you're
and 2.
forcing at home and not your normal regular every inning play.
3, 2, 1 out. Rush to the plate. Ball driven in the alley. 1 run in. 2 runs in. On a stand-up double.
And when you lay into one like that, it doesn't really matter where the infield plays. 2 RBI double for Anne-Marie Gutierrez.
Now batting number 22, Arlie Coronado.
So Areli Coronado steps to the plate one more time. In her last 2 at bats, she had 2 singles. 4-2 Mount Sac.
Four runs, 11 hits for Mount Sac. Next one fouled away. This is what Mount Sac does. They can grind you down, grind you down, grind you down, and then find that inning and rush. 2 balls and a strike. And Corey, she had to put it on the plate.
Yeah.
She was hoping that even putting it on the plate, maybe you hit it right at somebody, was hit up the gap. 3-0 is the count.
Because of that hit, played a little bit smaller now for Emily Rush. She's trying to be that perfect, not down the middle, but perfect spot on the corners, and she got it there.
3-2, 1 out. Runner at second and third. 4-2 lead for Mount Sac.
And it does bring up a little bit more pressure for Emily as she has to bring this one.
Ball 4.
And you don't mind the walk.
Now batting number 11, Ariana Coronado.
So 2 big hits in this inning. Off the plate, Ariana Coronado playing shortstop. Had a base hit to start things off. Grounded to Huerta in the third. Had a base hit in the 5th. And then popped up to first in the 7th. Little comes in. Runner tags. Goes back on a nice throw by Sophie Little from right field.
Now batting number 9, Brianna Goris.
So Goris with the bases loaded. Comes over with over the top single and drives in 2 more.
And Brianna Goris is basically a professional hitter. That's the first time at bat this whole game that she swung at the first pitch. She's usually waited a pitch or two to get her bearings on what she likes, but this time she knows Emily Rush is struggling just a little bit in this inning. First pitch swinging brings in 2.
Emily Barba.
And the thing she did too, Corey, is she rolled her wrist hitting that ball. So what it did is it gave it the downward spin. So it was one of those hits that you really look at it as going as a golf shot, going downward and dropping on the green quickly. That one taken back up the middle. Ball is cut.
And so Barba
Now batting number 6, Ashley
gets her
Diaz.
first hit of the game and an RBI.
Yeah. And now it's 7-2 here in the top of the 8th. And the hole just keeps getting a little deeper and deeper for Cypress. Rush trying to find a way out of this inning.
Mark Diaz, who started this inning with a pop out to Huerta at second, now seeing if she can do something with Goris at second base with 2 outs.
Oh, 0-2 count to her. So Emily Rush, a dive play away from maybe winning this game, is now currently on the hook for being the loser. And of course, when I ended up talking to Vicky Gutierrez of Mount Sac and said, how do you win the game? She goes, we need to win at least 2 or 3 of the fundamentals in a game, be it hitting and fielding or pitching. Pitching and hitting. If we win 2 out of 3, we should win the game. Corey, they've done that today. They've had excellent pitching from the circle, only giving up 2 early runs and then shutting Cypress down since then. and they've only had one error in this game.
And neither of the errors for either squad has produced runs.
That goes to Huerta, and the bleeding stops, but not before 5 big runs come in. 5 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and a couple left on base. As we head to bottom of the 8th, it's now Mount Sac 7, Cypress 2, here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Game number 2, right around the corner here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Corey Neyland calling the action on that one, if he wants to. He looks at me like, wait a minute, I'm very content being the
I was just
add
talent.
2 cents.
I was just talent today, baby. So one of these games where Mount Sac, the perennial favorite to go to the state softball championships, outlasting, we should say, because the game's not over yet, outlasting Cypress up to this point. It got to extra innings, and with this, as deep and as talented as Mount Sac is, they just wear on you, and that's what they've done here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I learned something new technically every day with Ed Ford and Albert Robles. I never knew that the data video board had a little slot in there for zip ties. That's pretty cool.
Now batting number 18, Emily Rush.
I like it.
A holder.
So Riley Morano checks back in at second base. So Morano and Goris on the right side of the infield. Ariana Coronado and Ortiz on the left side of the infield. Behind the plate is Anne-Marie Gutierrez. Barba, Emily in right field. Center field is Ashley Diaz. And in left field is Aurelie Coronado.
And starting things off here in the bottom of the 8th, trailing by 5 is Emily Rush. Emily takes the first one for a strike. Emily had that base hit to start, big double to start things off in the first, back to second in the third, popped the first in the 5th. And this time says, well, I'm going to make everybody feel good as she pops to Morano here in the 8th.
Now batting number 15, Jordan Thompson.
So Thompson comes up, sacrificed in the first, popped the first, popped to right. Going out of center field, tracked down there on a beautiful running catch by Ashley Diaz. Corey Neyland, she just went back like a gazelle and backhanded the ball.
And that's why they can play pretty shallow, Mark, because they have people who can run and track down the ball. As you see the replay here, it looked like a base hit, maybe extra base hit off the bat. But again, Diaz just gliding in center field, as you saw there, a second time making the catch.
2 up, 2 down. That'll bring us to Sandoval. So Mount Sac is ranked as the best team here in the Southern California section. Well, trying to prove it today in this first game against Cypress. Game number 2, well, we'll see if we get a split or a double dip by Mount Sac in this doubleheader today. Fly ball in the gap. Taken right there, and Corey Neyland, you talked about it. Ashley Diaz could go to her left and goes to her right, and that's what she does. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And as the 8th inning comes to completion, so does this game. As Cypress loses the first game, 7-2 over Cypress College. 7 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for Mount SAC, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Cypress College. For Ed Ford, for Albert Robles, for Corey Neyland, and the old guy, you've been watching the first game of a doubleheader here at Cypress College on Sportsnet, USA.net.